Hey guys, it's Alyssa. I am looking at Elena's oral language for second language acquisition. And I'm just going to start by talking about what I saw as some of her strengths and then some of her weaknesses. So for her strengths, I noticed that she does understand the gist of the conversation. Even though certain words may not be understood all the way, she does kind of understand what's going on in the conversation, which is always a good sign. She's really strong adjectives for someone who's only been in the United States for 2 years and whose parents speak their native language at home, which is kind of interesting, so that's good. She has a strong negotiation, and so she adds details. She made gestures like it ended here and things like that. So she did really well with that. And then overall listening seemed to be pretty good. It's kind of hard to tell when you can't listen to her actually, but based off of her replies, it sounds like she was listening to the teacher as they were talking, which is a good thing. For her weaknesses, I said that she's using sentence fragments, so not every sentence is a complete sentence. Some sentences were lacking a noun, some were lacking a verb, some just weren't in the right order. So that's something that she's kind of lacking. She has misconceptions with certain words, like celebrate and apron. Even though she was describing them in a way, especially for apron, she didn't know what it was. And then for celebrate, I'm not quite sure if she didn't understand the word or if she just didn't hear it when she repeated it. So that's something that I would look at. And then that kind of leads to the fact that she's still learning many of those key vocabulary words that are necessary to understand the English language. So I put that as a weakness. We just want to keep working on vocab with a student like her. And then she often repeated certain words, and ones that I saw for sure were like inside and lift. So that's something that kind of works with maybe the listening piece, maybe just being flustered, not knowing what's going on. So those are some things that I saw as her weaknesses. Now, using her strengths and weaknesses to kind of figure out the next step for her, I chose to look at the matching game, listening, which is on page 197 of the Gibbons text, chapter 7. So I'm going to go through and kind of show you how the strategy would work like I was working with Elena, and then I'll go through and kind of talk about how you would start to present it to a student. I'm going to assume that the oral conversation that happened was like a pre-assessment at the beginning of the year, or just a conversation in passing that kind of alerted the teacher's mind. I don't think that this would be a direct intervention from the conversation. I think it would kind of be a build-up piece. So for this, I would start kind of like this. So Elena, today we are going to play a game. I have 3 pictures right here. I have this one, which is my first picture. This one, which is my second picture. And then this one, which is my third picture. I have a couple sentences that talk about each picture. I'm going to read them out loud to you, and I want you to think about which picture is that talking about. When I'm done reading all 3, then you get to match the picture to the word. So the first one that I'm going to start with is, yesterday I went to the circus. There was a big tent. There were clowns who were funny and made me laugh. Animals performed tricks. My mom got me a balloon to take home. I like the circus. Circuses are fun. So that was the first one. The second one is, the beach is hot. When I go, I get to wear my shorts and sandals. There are a lot of things to do at the beach. I like to build sandcastles. My friends like to dig for seashells. My brother likes to fly his kite. The water is so much fun to swim in. That was the end of the second one. And then here's the last one. When I go to school, I have to remember a lot of things. I need my backpack. I use a pencil to write in my notebook during the day. My teacher likes books, so we read a lot at school. When I pack my backpack, I remember a pencil, book, and notebook each day. All right, so Elena, you heard me read those 3 pieces to you. I want you to think about the words that you heard while I was reading, and feel free to look at them again if you want to. And I want you to match the picture to the paragraph or to what I said that matches. So go ahead and get started with that. So let's just say that that is kind of how that intervention strategy would start. So I picked out pictures that were kind of common to students who live in the United States, pictures that may be familiar to an ELL student or may not. And then as I created the paragraphs to go with them, I used key vocabulary words. So Elena would then go through and she would be able to see what I wrote. So like here's just like my sentence strip. You can see it's not a lot of text, but kind of just enough to get the gist across, and it's big enough to see. So then she would use those keywords to help her figure out which picture matches to it. If she's struggling, that would be a good time to lead one of those vocabulary intervention lessons. So if we were talking about the circus picture, which looks like this, and my sentence said there was a big tent, you could talk about what a tent was, what the purpose for a tent is, and then kind of talk about those kind of things. And this strategy can be adjusted based off of the level of your ELL learner. So if you have a very new ELL student, you could do very basic scenes like the sun is in the sky, or I'm reading a book, things like that. As the student gets more advanced, you can continue to make it more and more difficult. So you could change it to a content-based area if that's what you're looking for. So it's a very simple strategy to scaffold. It doesn't take a lot of prep, but I think it would be good for a student like Elena who's still kind of working on struggling on vocab words and just the gist of like the English language grammar-wise. So I think that this strategy would help her, and then since it's seen as a game, it's kind of fun, and then it would help again with those just keywords. So thanks for watching.